Hey friends, I'm Nate Scott with Windermere Real Estate Terra. We have offices in Arlington, Anacortes, Mount Vernon, and Sedro Woolley. So Skagit County, North Snohomish County. Our agents are getting a ton of questions and concerns from their clients about tax assessments, which have just shown up in the mail in the last month or so. And the concern is this: my assessment, the value of my home, the assessment went up by 12%, and this means I'm going to owe 12% more taxes. Isn't that correct? And the answer is no, or at least probably not. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to show you a very quick and basic overview of how assessments work with the taxes. And if you have questions at the end, I'm going to direct you where to go for either getting more clarification or arguing your tax assessment should you want to. So let's get going. First of all, I've created for this talk a little fake town called Anytown, Washington. It's very small. It's only got 3 homes in it, so it's going to be easy to do the math. And what I've done is, or what the assessor in Anytown did, is went and assessed the values of each home. So we've got a home worth $200,000, home worth $250,000, and a home worth $350,000. The local municipality put together a budget, as they do every year. Here's what we need to run the services: the fire department, the roads, the parks, snow removal, things like that. And that has a budget of $1,200. So what the assessor does is they add up the total assessed value in their district. In this case, the district is Anytown, Washington, and they get a total assessed value of $800,000 worth of property. They then take the $1,200 budget, they divide it by the total assessed value in their district, and they get what's called a levy rate. And that levy rate in this case is 0.0015. They then multiply the value of the home by that levy rate, and that tells them the taxes owed for that year. So in this case, the $200,000 home multiplied by the levy rate of 0.0015 equals $300 in tax owed. The $250,000 home owes $375 in tax, and the $350,000 home owes $525 in tax. And those 3 amounts of taxes, as you can see, equal the budget for the year of $1,200. That's how those services are paid for. So let's go to year 2. Let's say year 2, all homes in this town increased in value by 4%. So across the board, the $200,000 home is now worth $208. The $250,000 is worth $260. The $350,000 is now worth $364. So everyone increased by the same amount, 4%. And the local taxing district had the exact same budget, $1,200 to run all the services they need for this town. So what the assessor does is, we've got new values, so they add them all up. They now have $832,000 worth of total assessed value in Anytown. They divide it by, or they take the budget, divide it by that new assessed value, and they get a new levy rate. And now it is 0.001442, which they then multiply each home's value by, and they get their taxes owed. And as you can see, the $300, $375, and $525, that is the exact same amount of taxes that were due in the prior year when everyone's value was 4% lower. So all of their values increased. They got that statement in the mail that says, hey, congratulations, by the way, your home is now worth more, but it did not change their taxes. And the reason it did not change their taxes is because even though the values increased, the budget for running the town did not increase. So they still only have to pay that $1,200 to run the town and provide all the services that the citizens want. So let's look at year 3. Year 3 is a little different. The $208,000 home value didn't change, stayed the same. The middle home, it went up by 1%, so its value increased by 1%. And the higher value home, maybe it's on the water, it went up by 3%. They had a banner year, they're happy, they now have a little more equity and a better value in their home. So they're up to $374,920. So different appreciation rates end up redistributing the tax burden. So what the assessor does, they've got their new values, they come up with their new total assessed value. Now it's $845,120. They take the same budget, so we had the same budget this year. Apparently they don't increase any services and they're immune from inflation, so they got a $1,200 budget. They divide by the new total assessed value, they get a new levy rate. The assessor then applies that levy rate to each home's value, and they get their new tax owed. And now you can see, since the homes appreciated at different rates, the budget didn't change, but the homes appreciated at different rates, this redistributes the tax burden. So home number one owes actually $5 less than they did the prior year. The middle home, they increased by 1% in value, but they still owe less because the higher value home, they increased by 3%, quite a bit more than the other two. So they absorbed $7 more of that tax burden. They absorbed the bulk of the change here. They pay more, the other two homes pay less. So the tax burden is now shifted, like I just said, with two homeowners paying less, one paying more. I'm getting ahead of my slides here. Okay, so now I'm going to recap the 3 years and then we'll go into 2 more scenarios. So year one, this is everyone's tax, $1,200 budget, $1,200 total. Year two, local tax has a $1,200 budget. Oh, we already did that. Okay, year two, sorry. Local tax district has the same budget, $1,200. So they didn't change that. Each home's value increases by the same amount. Assessor calculates the new rate. Each home's assessed value is multiplied by the new levy rate. Each home has the same tax as the prior year. So no change. Values went up, but the budget didn't, so no change. Year three, values went up at different rates, or one stayed stagnant, the other two went up, but at different rates. The tax burden is redistributed. It shifted more to the home that went up by 3% than to the other ones, which actually went down in this scenario. So now let's say year four, local tax district, the values stay the same, so no change in value in year four, but the budget changes. Now the city says we need $200 more to run the city, plow the snow, plant trees in the park, etc. So they have a new budget amount divided by the same total assessed value amount, gives us a new levy rate. You apply that across the 3 values, and now everyone's taxes has gone up. And everyone's taxes have gone up because the budget increased. It's not the increase in value of the homes that drives this, it's the increased budget that drives that. So when you see that increased assessment come to you in the mail, it does not necessarily mean your taxes will go up. When you see the yearly budget put out by the county, if it is higher, or your tax district, if it is higher than the prior year, then your taxes are likely going to go up. So it is an increase in budget, does this, not the assessed value. But let's add one more thing to the mix here. Fourth home, someone moves to town, they build a home. The assessor goes out and places a $300,000 assessment value on it. There is no change in the budget, so we're still $1,400 like the year prior, but now that after the assessor gets a new levy rate and assesses each home, the tax burden is shifted more because we've got a fourth homeowner who is going to pick up part of the tab. And in this case, everyone's taxes go down. We've spread that tax burden out among more people, more properties in this case, and everyone pays a little less for the same services. So that is what happens in this hypothetical situation or example. But of course, as cities grow, so do the need for services and the cost of those services. So it's not often you're going to add neighborhoods but not increase the budget. But adding neighborhoods and homes definitely does spread out that tax burden. So here's a quick look at Skagit County tax districts. This is how they're broken down. Mount Vernon has 4 of them. That's because of different levies in there, I think having to do with the hospital districts. But most other towns just have 1 levy rate. And just a note, Skagit County last year, I think last year, May 2021 to April 2022, easy for me to say, the selling price of homes were coming in at 92.6% of assessed value. So what that's telling you is the assessor is close, but that value they're giving you is probably low by around 7%. So, if you want to know the exact value of your home, of course, reach out to us. We can have one of our agents come tell you what it would sell for on the open market. But if you look at your assessment, it's likely that it's low. So when you get that and you're mad about the increase, know that it probably could be an even bigger increase, and it's going to be something that is tough to argue unless you have some really good data. And it's going to be sold comps. That's what the assessor is going to want to see. Some sold homes just like yours, close to yours, that sold for less in order to argue your value down or something odd. I actually fought a assessment on a piece of property and was able to lower my taxes, but that was because I went out and got a wetland study that showed the property could not be developed like the county thought it could. So they lowered the value because it just wasn't developable as they thought it could be. Here's Snohomish County's levy rates and tax districts, so you can check that out. If you do want to ask more in-depth questions, this is a very basic overview here, but if you want more in-depth questions, here's the two places you can go to. If you're in Skagit County, go to the assessor, skagitcounty.net, then the assessor's page, and Snohomish County, wa.gov, and go to the levy page. On there, they have reports every year that show how close they are with their assessment to actual sales prices. They also tell you how to argue your assessment, but I'll tell you again, make sure you have very good supportive data, or they're not going to change your assessment. You're going to waste your time and their time. If you have any questions, please drop them in the comments below, or pick up the phone and call us at one of our offices. Shoot us an email, shoot your agent an email. Most of them know how this works, or if they don't, they will come talk to me and I'll show them how it works. If you have, like I said, questions, you can pop them in the comments below. If this was helpful, please hit like and subscribe. Thank you for listening. Hope you're having a good day.